Thank you. Next item, please.
Special reports, secondary options. Ms. Shannon Peterson and Mr. Majid Fadlela.
And this is part of a board request going back a couple months. Good evening.
So every fall, or it runs into January sometimes, we present the secondary options at our middle school to all of our middle school students and also to the middle school parents. And then you'll see after we go through these briefly that the high school revisits these. So the secondary options in Dearborn include the DCMST, the Collegiate Academy, dual enrollment, our early colleges, and our CTE coursework. To date, this year, we had just under 2,400 students take advantage of one or more of these options. So our first secondary option is the Dearborn Center for Math, Science, and Technology. This is a STEM program. It's also for high achievers, so students actually have to apply. They must be in algebra in 8th grade, and they have to successfully complete it. And it's a half-day program, so they would attend half-day at DCMST and half-day at their home high school. It is focused on science, technology, and math, and most students have their eye set on attending a four-year university. The selection is from algebra students, and we also take a look at standardized test scores, so the MSTEP. The PSAT is not in yet. They'd like to use that, but it's not available at that time. NWA, Algebra 1, we give them a common assessment at the end of semester 1, so they use those scores as well in GPA. Students are emailed, they go through their district email to apply. They look at all those scores. If there are more than slots available, they do a lottery from the qualified students. Michael Berry is our Career Tech Center, although we do have Career Tech education classes at some of our high schools. Students that want to get involved in Career Tech Ed Health, criminal justice, we have a variety, hospitality, they go over to the Michael Berry Career Center. These are multi-class sequences, so typically they go there and they take classes for 2 to 3 years, depending on the area that they're interested in. Students also compete. They join a club and compete in their area. So we have BPA, Business Professionals of America, HOSA. That is a requirement for career tech education. Our hope is that they earn an industry certification of some sort while they're there. And also we have articulated college credit, obviously, with Henry Ford College. Some of the programs that we offer at the Michael Berry Career Center is computer programming. Obviously, we have our restaurant there. If you haven't gone, I highly recommend it. Dearborn Business Academy, multimedia. We have health sciences. I recommend taking a look at the allied health class. The students are really excited. We have dental assistant as well through the health sciences. Criminal justice is new this year. I always like to take a peek at those classes. It's an actual police officer who is still working in the field that is teaching those classes. Teacher cadet is actually located at their high schools. We have teacher cadets at all 3 of our high schools, and in 2 years we'll have them at the pre-education. Construction trades are at a few of the high schools, family and consumer science at Fortson, and industrial education is at Etzel and Fortson, and we also have wood shop at Dearborn High. And then information technology, students are taking AP computer science and coding. Dual enrollment, students actually starting in the 8th grade, if they have the qualifying scores, can actually dual enroll. We don't provide transportation for dual enroll. Our students take about 4,000 classes in a given year, and upward of 85% of them succeed with a C or better in those courses. Students can take up to 10 classes, dual enrollment, while they're in high school. And however, if we have a student who taking more meets their needs, we can approve that. We just have to have Dr. Maleko and Mr. Cavaluna sign an agreement that the student meets that criteria and can take more. The counselors are really starting to raise their focus on courses that meet the student's educational development plan or their career interest. In the past, we kind of had an approved list of what we know our students are successful in, and more students are trying to gain industry certs or get some liberal arts under their belt and paid for by us before they go off to college. Oh, this one's you.
Good evening. Thank you, Ms. Patterson. We have currently 3 early colleges. One is for health careers, partnered with Henry Ford Health System. One for advanced manufacturing and pre-engineering. Our partner is Ford Motor Company. We're part of the Ford NGL network. This is our first year for the Henry Ford Early College pre-education for those students interested in becoming teachers. This was our first year. Hopefully, we'll continue on that track to address the teacher shortages in our district. All 3 colleges are located at the main campus of Henry Ford College. It's a 5-year program. Students earn both their high school diploma and up to an associate degree from Henry Ford College in their career choice, paid for. The district pays tuition, books, lab fees, everything. So you graduate debt-free from college. Almost everything. We had a student in hospitality, and we did not pay for the pants and the uniform for him.
And the knives.
These are some of the health career programs we offer at the Henry Ford Early College. Anything in health careers we offer. Respiratory therapist, pre-nursing is very popular, paramedics, radiographers, the manufacturing track. This year, our first graduating class from that school. It's been 5 years already. It's a great program. Our students are just excelling everywhere. And the pre-education, we offer elementary, secondary, special education, child development, and paraprofessional certificate. Dr. Maleko mentioned that we are in talk with Wayne State University to partner with them to transfer our students to Wayne State. All 3 early colleges, we offer field experiences. For the Henry Ford Early College Health, every Wednesday, our students are bused by our district buses to Henry Ford Hospital. They spend the day both in 9th and 10th grade. In the advanced manufacturing, we do the rotation actually on college. We have the pre-engineering department working with us and our students every 2 weeks. They do rotations. And the pre-education students are placed in elementary classrooms throughout our Dearborn districts every 2 weeks, bi-weekly visits. The Collegiate Academy is offered for all 3 high schools, Fortson, Dearborn High, and Edward Ford. Students take the PSAT in 10th grade. If they score college ready, and they're on track to graduate, meaning they have not failed any classes up to 10th grade, and they attended our school in 10th grade, they qualify for the Collegiate Academy. They get a letter from Dr. Maleko, congratulating them on earning a scholarship to Henry Ford Collegiate Academy, and they start with us. It's also a 5-year program. They get their associate degree up to an associate or 45 to 50 transferable credits to any institution, and transportation is not provided, but everything else is paid for. Books, fees, tuition, almost everything. Henry Ford Collegiate Academy students are still part of their high schools. They walk with their class, although they don't get their diploma till the end of their 5th year. By the end of 4th year, they walk with their class. They're still part of their high school. In 11th grade, they take 1 college class in 11th grade first semester, 2 college classes second semester. In 12th grade, they take 1 high school class. The rest are classes at the Henry Ford College. In 13th year, all their classes are Henry Ford College. Both early college and collegiate academy are very rigorous programs. The students earn high school diploma and work college work. The great thing about it is, once they graduate from high school, they're not considered transfer students. They're eligible for any freshman scholarship at any university because they have not earned a high school diploma before they applied. We have counselors at the high school and academic advisors at the college working with our students in all our programs.
So all of our high schools offer honors and a way to get honors credit. So Fortson and Etzel offer honors classes, and Dearborn High is piloting a program where they have increased the rigor in language arts. They can earn honors credit at the end by doing a specific capstone. So it's it allows more students the opportunity if they can do it. Currently, the old system is we look at their PSAT and M-STEP scores and place students in it. So a lot of maturity happens between 8th and 9th grade, so you just never know. Advanced placement courses are also available at our high schools, and some of our high schools, if they can't get enough students to hold a face-to-face class, students will use Michigan Virtual to take advanced placement courses. So we offer just about anything a student is interested in and is capable of for advanced placement. So this information is shared at middle school presentations with students and during high school. So we give them all the information in 8th grade, and then in high school in 9th grade, Dr. Barrow from our Career Tech program will come over and speak to the students because they will start to schedule at the Michael Berry Center for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, so they get that information fresh again. As same thing for dual enrollment, the counselors in 10th grade meet with the students about taking dual enrollment. Typically, that's when a student is ready for dual enrollment, although the state says they could do it in 8th grade. There's lots of different nuances to that, and whether or not a student is ready, that really is a conversation between a parent and a counselor. So the high school presentations are ongoing to both students and parents when it's appropriate. We meet with 10th graders for the Collegiate Academy this semester so that they're ready. They take the PSAT, maybe they're a little more extra effort if they really want to get into the Collegiate Academy program. So we also have posted on the blogs for the middle schools, the secondary options PowerPoint in both English and Arabic, and there's a handout available, CTE, dual enrollment, all of those topics are revisited at the high schools, as I said. And we are currently working on, with Mr. Kennyberg, directory on the website so they can click on secondary options and, it'll be alphabetized, and they'll click on a letter and it'll take them to dual enrollment, or they'll click on Henry Ford Collegiate Academy and it'll take them to information about that. So that is currently being worked on so that the website's a little more user-friendly in finding this information. Questions?
Great. Trustee McDonald?
I just want to say, this is one of the reasons why I'm so proud to be affiliated with this district. We have been cutting edge on this for many years, and the opportunities that we offer our students are amazing, and they really support our students and give them a chance to be more than competitive in the world. So I want to thank you for everything you do, but I also want to say I'm a little disheartened because the bond did not pass. We had hoped to expand a lot of these programs and go into other things like perhaps cybersecurity and other, and we're unable to do that because the money was, had hoped to have that money from the bond, so.
You still buy the building.
What's that?
I told him to behave.
Yes.
He said you could still buy the building. I told him to behave.
Trustee Dr. Mead, please.
Well, but what I will say about that is with the implementations of the academies in the high school, their career focus on education, our students are focusing their dual enrollment. So we had a young lady at Fortson last year who ended up taking enough courses for coding, and she's graduated last year and is working in that field and making great money right out of high school. So industry certifications, and the research is showing that industry certifications are going to be as important, if not more important, than four-year degrees in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Dr. Mead?
Just clarification about dual enrollment. Did I hear you say that 8th graders can do dual enrollment at the college?
Michigan Department of Education says 8th graders can. We have not had students do it, but I just want to be transparent.
All right,
MDE
so-
says they can.
So typically they start at the 11th grade?
Typically, they start at the 11th grade.
What criteria do you use for dual enrollment?
So there's test scores that we look at, and we are not allowed to look at GPA. We have to look at their test scores and their ability to be successful.
So that's a judgment between the student and the
And the
parents and
counselor.
the counselor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And these are great programs, thank you.
Trustee Lane?
Yes, if I could just make one or two quick points. I beg to differ a little bit on the remark that some AP starts at 10th grade.
Yes, it does.
I'm pretty sure, I know from my own experience that my kids started AP US History in 10th grade, and I know many, many students that did. And I think that individual students have actually started AP classes in ninth grade, depending on their academic and intellectual ability.
Correct.
But that being said, I want to ask whether on slide 2, secondary options, whether AP shouldn't also be added to that, because it really results eventually in college credit. So
We can
maybe
s-
it should be added.
We can add that.
I did recently get a profuse thank you from an early college parent who really couldn't stop saying how grateful she was for the district and the college both in having the program, which saved her family thousands of dollars. But one other thing that I would like to do is give credit. I remember many years ago having discussions with Mr. Imad Fadlallah on honors classes, and I'm so glad that we're able to provide that as an intermediate step for kids, for young people who want to push themselves ahead and can do that. Mr. Imad Fadlallah was always very adamant that although we want kids to start choosing what direction they go, no one is ever a final product of our educational system and of our own self-development. We can continue to remake ourselves our entire life long, and no student should be trapped. Mr. Fadlallah was always really adamant about that. So I just want to put that out there, because even if a student starts on one career path, the great thing about America is that people can reinvent themselves, and students, because they're young, should absolutely be most able to do that. So maybe someone else could expound on that a little bit. But even if a student thinks that they want to go into healthcare and then they change their mind and go into engineering, it's not that they lost that time.
Correct, and what the community colleges will tell you is right now what students are doing is they're going to college to figure out what they want to do. And we're trying to give them a picture and some experiences in high school so that they have a better vision and a better choice to make, so that they're not actually paying for college classes while they're trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. We're trying to give them experiences in high school.
Trustee Moses, do you have something?
Sure, yeah. So thank you for this presentation. This was amazing. And while you were doing the presentation, I was looking online. So hopefully we can match the information that you just presented on the website. I just wanted to make sure, I think this was as a request, because a lot of parents that we have these amazing different programs, it's kind of more information, loads of programs, they get kind of lost of where do I enroll my kid or my daughter, my son. So we want to make it as easy as possible for parents to check out this information in multiple languages, including English, Arabic, and perhaps Spanish, on the website, to say those are the different programs that they could go to and they could specialize, or if they want to get into the DCMST program, those are the requirements that they need in order to do that. So they would know ahead, okay, if I need to get into this program. And yes, Trustee Lane, actually, we do have ninth graders who are taking AP.
We do. It's
I
not
was
the
part
norm,
of-
but we do.
Yeah, it's in DCMST. I was part just last week at the CTE advising, and I was really pleased to hear that our students are taking AP course at ninth grade. And that's to say that we're challenging our students, that we have rigorous materials for them, and to earn college credit from their first year in high school. And to hear that even eighth graders can do it, I mean, that's even better. So I hope to see this information transmitted on the website as you said, in a very easy way. Perhaps, I don't know, David's team could do a video or something where you navigate through these different options so parents are well informed, and as well as students are well informed in many different platforms besides the presentations that you're giving every year. Thank you.
Trustee Petchkoff?
Okay, first off, I'd like to say I enjoy these presentations because when I first came on to the board in 2008, the one thing we heard over and over again, and we were so financially struggling, we couldn't deliver at that time, was that we had lots of programs or had more programs to help those students who were academically struggling, but we didn't have anything for the students who were excelling and needed to be challenged more. And so we finally have been able to produce a variety of ways for those students to excel. But I do have a question, and somebody from the college had asked me this, who was teaching a class over there about the dual enrollment program. If I recall initially when dual enrollment was introduced, students had to have already taken as many of the challenging courses at the high school level, and then when they had exhausted all those options, would then move on to the college level courses.
That's no longer true.
My understanding now is, and that's why there was some confusion, was that they are now seeing students who are and haven't taken any of those kinds of courses at the high school level, and they're just moving into a similar course, but at the college level and getting so things
That
have
is true.
changed.
That was a state decision.
Right.
However, many of the courses, so for example, psychology, I think, they have to actually pass the AccuPlacer to get into the college. So some students won't be able to go to the college and pass the AccuPlacer, so they would take psychology at their high school. But if a student can pass the AccuPlacer and wants to take that at the college, we really have to allow them.
So it's true for history, for any of the other, okay, so the rules have changed, basically.
The rules have changed.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I was clear
The
now.
Michigan Department of Ed has
Yes.
changed the rules.
Okay.
So I'm working with the counselors to really help razor focus their counseling of students to see where they're headed. Because it really, about 4 years ago, it used to be, there was a list that said, these are the classes. you can-"
Right.
Right.
Now they can just kind of pick at will, and they don't have to have. Well, I guess then, yes, one of the things, when you're with the concern of the parents having this volume of information and not knowing how to navigate it, and we know that this is something that we really need to focus on, is our school counselors and the ability of them to help the parents and the students understand and direct their goals, so that they're not taking courses that are, they're going to end up with, 3 credits in something that they walk away from, and it just made no sense for us to have directed them.
It's a daunting task for the counselors.
Yes.
They're terrific.
Yeah. But we
They
need
roll up
more,
their sleeves
really.
and they work hard, and
Yeah.
they truly do what's best for students. The other thing that's new this year, and Mr. Fadlala was really the leader of this, is we do have students taking College 101 at the high school right now. Every high school has several College 101 classes, so the instructors coming to the college, they're getting a feel for college coursework ahead of time, which our dual enrollment students typically haven't taken that course first, where students that go to Henry Ford College or other community college, they get put in that in their first semester. So we're providing that, and he was really the person that worked on that. You want to talk about it?
Thank you. We are offering College 101 at each of our high schools, plus the Berry Center. We have college instructors that go to the high school and teach those classes. I have visited the high school, talked to the students, talked to the instructors, and it's going very well. The students appreciate it. The teachers, the staff, the high schools truly appreciate it, because we're taking kids that can benefit from this and give them those classes. And I just met with the administration of the college 2 days ago, and we're going to try to expand this offering. So our goal for next fall is to offer 5 sections of College 101 at each of our high schools.
Is this to help students understand what the expectations are
With
of attending college?
College 101 teaches a lot of skills,
Okay.
including navigating college, study skills. It's a great program. We work very hard with the college, Dr. Atallah at the college with that program. It's very rigorous, very relevant. It addresses career choices, career readiness, and college readiness.
I assume that's available for any high school student, not just ones that are going in the secondary program, anyone that's interested in college or
Well,
exploring college?
this is the first semester we offer this, and we relied on our counselors to go to their students, and we targeted students that normally would not have been considered for college level work, to give them this class, to give them that first taste of it, make sure that, so they realize they can be successful in college.
Excellent.
And many colleges right now, that is a requirement in the first semester a student goes to college. So it's interesting, our early college students have always had that class, and our Collegiate Academy students have always had that class, but our dual enrollment students have dual enrolled in whatever they wanted, so this is a way to provide that for them as well.
Trustee,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Trustee Thorpe and I recently toured the early college program, and we met some of the counselors at the college. The passion they show for our students is just amazing. Now, we have we're talking about all these great programs. None of them can happen without the partnership of Dearborn Public Schools and Henry Ford College. I know we have President Cavaluna in here, and we want to thank Henry Ford College for having opportunities for our students. It was amazing. I mean, I don't know if Trustee Thorpe want to add anything to this?
It was good seeing the students in the different programs, hearing about how they went about it. I mean, they're college students, and they're 15, 16, 17 years old. The one question I would have for you then is, with the College 101 class, since that's being offered to high schoolers, is that then counting as an elective credit?
Yes.
Okay.
So whenever they take a dual enrollment course, we can make it worth either Michigan Merit or an elective. It just depends what it is. So students that take English 131, that's the language arts credit. If they take CIS 100, that's an elective credit. So it will always end up on their transcript for credit. It's just a matter of what slot we put it in.
Okay.
Trustee McDonald?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions and then one more comment. One of them was about the college program again, the 101. Have you you said that you were kind of targeting students that didn't plan on going to college. Are you tracking that? Because I'm curious to see if they didn't plan on going to college, they took that class, if it's successful in getting them there.
Well, let me try to correct myself. So initially, we saw this class as for sophomores, for 10th graders, getting them ready for college in 11th grade. But when we talked to our high school counselors, and we gave them leeway in picking the students they choose for those classes, now in those classes we have a mixture of 10th graders, 11th graders, and seniors in those classes. Okay? So yes, and this is the first semester we're offering this. So we're midway through the semester. And I visited before the break, and I'm planning to visit in 2 more weeks to specifically address the kind of question you're asking about those kids and what their plans are and how they see their future is.
Okay.
So I will let you know after I visit again.
So you're going to do an exit survey.
Something like that,
Absolutely.
yes.
I have one more question. When you had talked about DCMST, you said that if there's more students than there are slots, you're chosen by lottery. What happens if the reverse is true? If there's more slots available than students, do you go choose some extra students?
They will stick to their test scores because they know that's who can be successful.
Okay, so it's not necessarily the number of slots are
Right.
always filled.
But if we have, it used to be they would apply, they'd go through a process of selecting.
Okay.
We feel if the students meet this criteria and there's 180 slots, but there's 200 applications, then you pull them. A lottery is more fair. That's how the early college gets selected. So we just feel it's more fair. Now, the Collegiate Academy, if you hit that benchmark,
Then you're in.
everybody gets that scholarship offer. It's up to them to take it.
And one quick comment I just wanted to add to what Trustee Lane had said earlier. I think it's so important to give the students the opportunity to explore different avenues of different things that they might be interested, but to also have the opportunity to find out that, no, that's not what I want to do. And if you find that out early in high school, boy, does that save you a lot of heartache down the road. So I think that is also crucial.
You're correct. There's a book written by Mark Perna, and he says that the largest debt right now in our country is incurred by college students who get out of college and they don't want to do what they have studied for, and they have all this debt to pay for those classes. So if they figure out in high school, whoa, I thought I wanted to go into the health careers and I don't now, then that's better for it. I attended Miss Alloway's class at Fortson, and they had to do some presentations, and topics were, impressive topics, gentrification, vaccinations, and a student, they had to say their academy that they were in and the connection, and one student said she was thinking health careers, and now she's thinking public policy because of the work that she has been doing, researching. So better to find it out while you're in high school.
Absolutely.
Dr. Mead, you had a question?
Just a question about AccuPlacer. When you say that they pass AccuPlacer so that they can go to
score high
college,
enough to get
what
in.
does that mean? What
It's
does
not,
it mean?
it's not, Dr. Me, it's not passing, certain courses require placement in certain level. For example, if you want to take certain classes, let's say biology, anatomy, physiology, you must be placed, you must take AccuPlacer in place in English 131, which required have a score of 240 or higher.
Okay, so it's an evaluation of English
Yes.
skills, writing skills, math skills?
There's
Doesn't it
two
have to-
separate-
They have to reach a certain level in order to be a dual enrolled student? Or is it
Specific course.
for a specific course? AccuPlacer
Not all
evaluates
courses
it for
require it.
every course?
Not all courses require it.
Some courses don't require any assessment for the student to take the course.
Yeah.
What would be an example of that?
Sociology.
Sociology.
Actually, sociology requires,
Social sciences particularly, and
yeah, I mean, some classes require, don't require placement English 131, English 80 or a little higher. So if you're a high school student and you completed language arts, it counts.
all right, so if it's history or sociology or psychology,
Psychology required taking
they
IQ
don't need to
placement.
have writing skills and
No,
reading
psychology
skills?
you do.
I'm
Psychology.
still
Yeah, but
confused.
some of them don't require a specific placement into English 131. I don't think
What would
CIS
be an
100
example
does.
of that?
So Computer Information Systems
Ah.
100 does not.
Oh, okay, so not the
I don't think
academic.
History of Rock and Roll does, but it's on the Michigan Transfer Agreement, so our students will take that as a credit, and it gets them used to the college.
Trustee Moser?
Piggybacking on Trustee Mead's question, so if the student doesn't get to the score that they need for this class, are there any other alternatives that they could prove?
There's
that if they're
alternative
not like
courses.
great test takers and they don't get that score, but they really want to take that class? Or
So
they
not
didn't do
for
that
that
well, so
course.
on that test, so are we basing their admission on one particular test, or how does
So
it
the
work?
college does,
Okay,
and we have to play by their rules. So a student could take a different dual enrollment course, but if the requirement to get into psychology is to test into English 131, then that's the requirement. And really, that's so that they're successful, because of the heavy reading involved.
but we don't look at their grades in their classes?
No. You'll have to talk to the college on that.
Alternative to the IQ placer is taking the SAT and placing, scoring enough.
Okay,
So if you take the SAT and score college ready, you don't have to take the IQ placer for certain courses. That counts.
I'm just saying that we offer students more opportunities than they maybe had and test scores usually with standardized exams, they're not really a true measure of how students are doing. However, you could fall back and say those are the alternatives, but you're saying that's also the college has to agree on those aspects. Okay, thanks.
And Trustee Mosby, you have to remember, every other college student who's not in our system is required to play by those rules. We can't
No,
have one set of
absolutely,
rules
yeah.
for the high school students as opposed to, and then expect them to be in the same class setting and walk away, you know. So I can understand why, you know, if that's how we've set it up for the enrollment process, that it has to be adhered to.
The only thing that I would say, if you allow me, is that sometimes, like for example, a math class, and sometimes requirements would be like, you need to know you're proficient in English and they have a score for English. Well, if you're not proficient in English, but you're really good in math, you could pass the class. I mean, you will struggle a little bit, but I mean, that's a consideration to make of,
Right, I think-
are the requirements really fit the class? And
So I think for
perhaps-
math, it's the math AccuPlacer, so
Okay,
they would
good.
be taking that subject area.
Awesome, thank you.
Dr. Malek, you had some comments to make?
Just, yeah, briefly, I just wanted to mention, I talked to a college instructor recently and talked about how well the students from Dearborn schools are doing in the Henry Ford College. And I know you have data showing that, so I want to compliment Mr. Fadala, Ms. Peterson, the entire team, the board. And I also want to thank President Cavalluna for the great partnership and the work the college does. It couldn't happen without all of us. And our we are a state leader, and guess what? You saw the data on how many students are benefiting. So thank you to the board for their leadership, because I know this has been going on for a while. And we want to continue to expand. And yes, Trustee McDonald, we will have to find some ways to continue to expand, and I know we will. So I'm just very grateful for our positive partnership. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much, great report.